Elsewhere around the world, almost a month into Russia's invasion, Ukraine's president issued his most fervent appeal yet for ceasefire talks with Putin on Sunday. But Moscow is carrying out a ruthless response by shifting its strategy and escalating attacks against civilians. Lee Shi-hoo is standing by on the line with the latest. Shi-hoo, do fill us in.
Well, overnight, Russian forces bombed a shopping center in the Podilskyi district in Kyiv, according to the Ukrainian Prosecutor General. At least 8 people have been killed in the attack, but it's been suggested the number of fatalities could rise. A shopping center and cars in an adjacent parking lot caught fire following the shelling, and 63 firefighters worked to extinguish the flames. On Sunday morning, Russian forces also bombed an art school in Mariupol that was being used as a shelter for about 400 people. Officials are struggling to find out how many have survived as people remain trapped under the rubble and rescue efforts continue. Mariupol came under further bombardment overnight.
And Ukraine has rejected Russia's ultimatum that the besieged city surrender by Monday morning. What can you tell us about this issue?
Well, according to Russian state media, its Ministry of Defense had called on leadership of Mariupol to surrender the city by 5 a.m. Monday, Moscow time, or 4 a.m. in Mariupol. The head of the Russian National Center for Defense Management reportedly said all who lay down their arms are guaranteed safe passage out of Mariupol. According to CNN, Ukraine rejected the terms as a false choice. While the Russian ultimatum appeared to offer those who choose to surrender safe passage out of the city, it made no such guarantees for those remaining. In an interview late on Sunday, Ukrainian Deputy Prime Minister Irina Vereshchuk rejected Russia's terms, saying there can be no discussion of any surrender or of laying down arms. The deadline for Mariupol authorities to surrender the city has now passed. Mariupol has been under siege for several weeks and has seen some of the heaviest bombardments since the invasion began. Take a listen to what President Zelensky had to say about what Russian forces have done to the city.
To do this to a peaceful city, what the occupiers did to it is a terror that will be remembered for centuries to come.
And we've also heard Moscow has shown signs of a shifting military strategy using hypersonic missiles in its attacks.
Yes, Russia's Ministry of Defense said that its military had used its Kinzhal, or hypersonic missiles, to destroy an underground weapons cache and a fuel depot on Friday and Sunday, respectively. Neither strike has been confirmed by Ukraine, but according to Mikhailo Podolyak, a presidential advisor, the Ukrainian cities were being targeted with more destructive artillery, including the Kinzhal missiles. If verified, the strikes would mark the first use of nuclear-capable advanced weapons in this war. The UK's Chief of Defense Intelligence, Lieutenant General Jim Hockenhall, told reporters on Friday that the Russian operations have changed and that a new strategy will involve the reckless and indiscriminate use of firepower, destroying Ukrainian infrastructure and increasing civilian casualties. That's all I have at this hour. Back to you, Daniel.
All right, Shi-hoo, thank you for those updates.